And most of the times, I know before such a somebody can establish a filling station, National Petroleum Authority is supposed to look at the location. They would have to do feasibility as to whether it is prudent for them to establish a filling station. And this place isn't good. It is surrounded by household, and if you establish a filling station here, I think it's very dangerous for our lives here. So I think they would have to look at it. The authorities have to look at it and ensure they don't let them do this. Because just recently we know what happened, a lot of filling stations burning and stuff. And if this should happen, I think a lot of lives will be in danger.
Me feel some penny for no permit for idea wenu and penny for the engineer Omu Gia Wanka di Omu ye no Omunye Sabi Asasiani da whole plane na ya new site that is how obi be develop I see filling station wa dada na se filling station no and nchen obi ba kire so pe ehwa no mu di asini da ye fine isu we ha develop dada na se mu be filling station wa mu be ku ya na some be ye die. It is a beer penny, Nipa Bakusika Benyano, on Junior Yakano, on only Botomudiano in the Hiano.
Dear all by Adiano by Yenten, Yaninishi, and was your Payetoba near si Petroseri, dear, Bibi or baby aye peneso, na Petroseri inquired dear Yen peneso. And the Enraya cry or more yet, my woman say, Nipami and Sapeno, and Eddie Pepper say. Ya penesu se wo mu meye adwuma nti wo mu ye adwuma no me ha wo se si am ya biriwe se bibi ba ma de atumrika me fie nsu ni ejansu de petrol ejansu de nya de ketoa hwe de ba wo ye frɛ ho sen atomic ho oh enya fine de wo mu mpanimfo no ye wo Ghana no wo mu hwe no wo mu ya ye bre won sika no wo mu agi no wo mu ye niama enya fe no ani ade ha me sisi amiditi ha.
Upon complaints from the residents, a task force from the Adentan Municipal Assembly came to the area, halted the exercise, and cordoned off the site. According to the assemblyman for the area, Samuel Akrofi, his checks at the Adentan Municipal Assembly reveal that the developer has been granted authorization by the assembly.
When I went to the assembly, I started with the document, and they have obtained permit from fire service, they've obtained permit from MPA, and they've obtained permit from the assembly. When the project began as far back as 2016, they raised an issue, so they wrote a petition to the assembly, and as far as they are concerned, their issue has not been addressed. So why has the project, commenced? So they wanted me, my assistance, actually. So basically, I spoke to the MC, and then he gave me his word that if that is the case, the project must be put to a halt until further notice.
Attempts to speak to the municipal assembly, however, proved futile. For residents here at Ashaleboche New Town, it is very risky to have this fuel station sited amongst them within the community. They are calling on authorities to ensure that this project is halted as soon as possible. Reporting for Citi News, I'm Ni Ayikwe Okain.
Now, with a little under 90 days to the 2020 general elections, we on the Citi Newsroom are trying to engage the key stakeholders when it comes to this year's elections to pick their thoughts on their policies, campaigning during the COVID era, and also touch on, their key manifesto promises, and also try and interrogate some of the things they promised to do for the people. And on today's edition of the show, I am here with Professor Joshua Alabi, former Vice Chancellor for the University of Professional Studies. As a campaign manager, how's campaigning been so far?
I must say so far, so good. We've been to the voter region. From voter region, went to T. It was also almost the same. The reception very beautiful. Sometimes people block us by mounting roadblocks in the middle of the road when they know we'll be passing by and we may not have time to talk to them.
87 or so days to, election day. Your message book, your manifesto, You're promising jobs, prosperity for all. Break them down for us. I mean,
let's come to the TVET. What the NDC is bringing on board this time is that we have people who would like to, who may be dropped out of school, but they are capable of doing something else. So we want to assist them to develop the talent. So for example, you want to be a carpenter, you are good at that. You want to be a welder, you are good at that. The NDC will be identifying the master craftsmen all over the country, and we'll create a data bank for that. So for those who want to go into vocational training, where they want to go to the master craftsmen, like those things we call them apprentice, right? What blocks them from going has been the fees, because they also charge in a way. So the NDC government, the incoming government under His Excellency John Mahama, will be absorbing the fees. Now, when upon completion, the fees that they charge, normally they have what they call the release fees. The NDC will take that up and also give you the necessary tools for you to start to work.
Now, you've been with the former presidents on the road. I recently listened to a video clip of his where he was talking about the fact that looking at the advanced age of the current president, if the natural order of things flow, the current president is likely to go before the people who were gathered, the young ones, and that the debt that has been accrued, he would leave it. I don't know. I'm sure you were there.
I'm older than you. All things being equal, I will leave you. Is it not true? I tell my son, all things being equal, I'll leave him. Unless, the exception comes. But all things being equal, I'll leave you. Okay. Now, it means that you have an interest in what I do, which will have an effect on your life. You follow? Yeah. So that is the context.
But some say he was playing God, because you never know.
Let them say. In Ghana, even when you marry one, they say trouble. You marry two, they say trouble. You marry three, trouble. So let them say. But what I'm saying is that you being 30-something, and me being 60-something, all things being equal, I leave you. So if I'm a leader today, you should have interest in what I leave for you. So if I go about borrowing by heart, for you to come and pay, you should have an interest to address that. That's all what he wanted to say. Is it wrong to talk like that?
When you look at something like the Ejapa deal, for example, I don't know what you make of it, but the CSO still insists that the deal is a bad one and should be cancelled. The government also is adamant, essentially saying that if you look at gold prices as we have it now, about 1,700 or so plus an ounce, we are in a position to actually benefit from our natural resource. Where do you stand on that?
That deal stinks. And sometimes when I get young men like you throw this question at me, then I ask myself, are they also thinking of their future? That deal you are going to pay. Are you aware? If we decide to keep quiet, and this is to the youth, we decide to keep quiet and allow politicians to have their way, which will affect our lives in future. Tomorrow, when it gets to your time to run affairs of this country, my brother, you have no country to run. So you, throwing this question, you should have an interest in that particular deal. And ask yourself whether it's good for you. When the time comes, you are going to pay. That deal stinks. And that's why, apart from the government, almost everybody is talking about it. But because they have power, they are trying to push it through. My president is Osei John Dramama. Says when we win, he will not respect that one. And we will not respect it. Because we disagree with the deal. You push it through parliament because you have majority, fine. Now, apart from the minority in parliament, almost everybody talking about it. We are still pushing it. When we win, we will not respect that one. We will not respect that one. And we will not respect that one to protect people like you. So when it gets to a time to run affairs of this country, it will be easier for you. I tell you, if you keep quiet and it gets to a time and there's no money for you to run this country, there's no money for you to run country, the tolerance level of those who come after you will be very serious. In fact, if you don't take it, they'll come and beat you in office, because they will not understand that there's no money. They will understand that you are not performing, and they'll come after you in the right manner, because when it was time for you to talk about it, you refused. And that's why we are suffering in running affairs of the country.
Just the MP for Odududu, a key member of your party, essentially recently spoke of the fact that comments made by the former president or propagated by the former president when it comes to Achim Sakawa, I mean, some have described it as very controversial. He says the former president will not apologize. I mean, as a key member, where do you stand on that?
My brother, I don't know where you come from, but I'm a Gan. Mother from Nongwa, father from Nongwa. You people have insulted us several times in this part of the country. Tell me, you people, plural. You have insulted us several times. They insult the Gans anyhow here. What do we see? What do we see? Recently, a whole majority leader in parliament, MPP, said that in his party, or there's no Gan man or Gan Dagwe man qualified to be a running mate. I didn't hear that. It was an insult. It was an insult. Look at the type of people that we have in the Gan state. Yeah. You see, you want to be too emotional or something, so let us play down the emotions and let us move as a country. The type of insults that the Gans get in this part, if we are to react to each and every one of them, this place will not take all of us. This place will not take all of us. Okay? Yeah. Recently in the voter they insulted the chief. Toby Afensi was insulted. Nobody told you. Or you didn't hear. You're a journalist. You have it. Nah, you see? This is so we should try to water down our emotions in this country. We are all very important people. We should water it down. Recently, look, they went into some Ghana lands. It was very easy for the Ghana people to assemble their troops to go there and fight for them. Why didn't do that? Why? Why? No. It's not a matter. You see, when you use 2 wrongs, you don't make it right. 2 more, then somebody slaps you. If you slap him, you are wrong. Then he comes to slap you again. If you slap him, you are wrong. Why? Why? Look. Let me tell you something. I'll ask you something. 2 wrongs, you don't make it right. I'll ask something. You're a young man. Let's take it that we are married. Then you go to the market to buy foodstuffs yourself as a man. You like to cook. Then you come to cook. You serve yourself. Then somebody comes from outside. Just as you are ready to put the food in your mouth, he comes to hold your hand. Stop it. This food belongs to me. So you are a gentleman. Then you give him. Because you are a gentleman. 2 wrongs don't make it right. You won't fight him. Then you give him. The next day you are sitting in front of your door. The gentleman knows that this is how you are. Then he comes again. The young man, clear off from the door. I'm going to meet your wife. Then you tell me you're a gentleman.
Well, so essentially what you're saying is that the former president is not going to apologize. Essentially, that's that.
I personally think that if he apologizes, he's endorsing ethnocentric this thing in this country. Of course, yes, because now everybody will start asking people to apologize. I don't think we can contain that in this country. The Osumancha will say apologize the next day because he has seen that happen. The Yana will say apologize because he has seen that happen. Do you know the no apology we shall be facing in this country? Are you saying we should allow such comments to... My brother, in life we water down a lot of things for us to move as a people. Tolerance. Bring down your emotions. Right? It's very, very important for collective survival. Tolerance. Water down emotions is important for collective survival. Even in your own house with your family and your children, when you walk out, your wife and your kids can talk about you. Do you know that? Yeah. But that doesn't mean they don't love you. They love you. These things are normal way of this thing, people living together. And we should stop that. I think that we are going too far with some of these things. We should stop that. I disagree with the emotions that people... Look, there was a time somebody said the country belongs to them. Did we ask them to apologize? There was a time they said Nonets and Gans are some sort. I don't want to repeat some of them. By a prominent person. Did we ask them to apologize? There was a time somebody says Voterians are Togolese. Did we ask them to? Did the person apologize? We try to wait a while, these things go off, and we water them down. And we move them as a people. What is it that if you don't do this, don't come to my place again? Hey, look, if we go to Nungwa, we gather Nungwa people and say we are chasing some people from Nungwa, Do you think the country will be good for us? The president must lead in stopping this thing. I would rather suggest that the president must lead in stopping these things in this country. He must condemn the act of people who at least this thing will come out of their shelves and start demonstrating against people. He must lead it.
If I heard you right, you mentioned that so some ethnocentric comments have been made across board, which means that you do admit that the comment then is ethnocentric.
Look. When you go to the north, the Gonjes and Dakatis and the Sisales have a way of cracking jokes just to live and live nicely. If you go, you might think that they are quarreling, but they are enjoying life. This is what sometimes brings down pressure and stress in societies. Right? BPs are rising in this country because of some of these things. People are devouring blood pressure unnecessarily. Look, as I sit here, I can talk to you seriously today, and the next day I'm off. I'm quiet. I'm smiling at you. I want to enjoy life with you. Let's leave things and let's ease ourselves and let's relax.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom. We're going to take a breather here. When we return, we'll put the spotlight on the Brekum constituency, where we'll engage some stakeholders to find out the chances of the two candidates for the leading political parties.
Details of that coming up shortly.
Rigworld Solutions, forging the frameworks of Ghanaian industry. Engineering solutions from the heart of Takrade, Kejebil. At Rigworld Solutions, we manufacture industrial bolts and nuts, fasteners, hoses and fittings for the extractive and petrochemical industries. World-class products with local expertise. Locate our factory in Kejebil of the Takrade Takwa Road. Call 0302 949917 or 0540 107504. Email enquiries at rigworldsolutions.com. Rigworld Solutions, crafted in Ghana, engineered for the world.
The world is impossible without time. Time is endless motion. Make time work for you. Bet Planet. Time to bet.
You're welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. Now, the Brekum West constituency is one to watch in the December polls as two aspirants, Kweku Agyenim-Boateng, Deputy Minister for Railways, and Dixon Tredia, Public Relations Officer at the Sunyani Technical University, who contested in the 2016 election, face off again. Now, Citi News' Michael Sapon Film visited the constituency, spoke to the candidates and some of the constituents.
The Brekum West constituency was carved out of the Brekum constituency in 2012. It shares boundaries with Brekum East, Domai East and German South. The constituency has been a safe seat for the NDP since its creation. 3 persons are eyeing the seat in this year's election. They include the incumbent Kweku Agyenim-Boateng, Dixon Tredia, and legend Derek Obin. The sitting Member of Parliament and Deputy Minister of Railways, Kweku Agyenim-Boateng, in the 2016 elections defeated his close contender, the Sinchedria, he had a little over 10,000. The Sinchedria also had a little over 7,000. The two are facing off in a December polls, the second time in 4 years. Some constituents have been assessing the performance of the Member of Parliament, Kwaku Ejeni Mboaten.
He's the third MP we have had. We had Osei Champon, we had Captain Krabi Fadate, and he's the third one. But I can boldly say, in fact, he has performed creditably.
You can see from your eyes, and when you started entering to the town, you see things are not in a good shape. He's not doing anything because 12 years in power, like Diligini should be like a city of very nice shape and other stuff, but nothing is going on. Nothing. The youth are suffering.
I think that the Honorable Kwaku Ejeni Mboaten has made a mammoth contribution to the progress and development of Brekum West. As an MP, he has touched all the sectors, all the aspects of human life in Brekum West, from education to health to work. In education, we talk about schools that he has helped the communities to have, and not only that, he has also been providing exercise books on academic year basis. As well, he has also been organizing what we call free vacation classes.
Oko Brekum West, Putu Obi Enho, I'm Pinot to Minchester Croway, our project back on Crow. Even though check compounds are Mosino, check compound or Mosino, I'm Pinot to Minchester, check compound back on Crow and Posuasuha. Even only project will be already an asthma cancer MP, the energy man says, or permanent Koshemba. But on Casa MP, Timmy and Puntu, my Buana mine. And I'm a Brekum West, Mantia woman, a Nipo war, Krumina, who say, MP Binum or Mutieti and Krubisu, MP Binum war, alias business, Bafo, we are nominated MP Binum and DC, Oko Banda, Ahmed, Madio Modin or Bonahafono. What do you say? Now, SONE. But the Brekum West and why MP so young Puntuma. And you see a Passaya China say, MP and Puntuma.
Poor lighting at night in some communities is a major concern of some of the constituents.
Light no, enye bebia na ebiwo. Who say biwo pole we so a, it's a what pole be 5. And said who say ba kumbo ho. Ene kra no, en shada shrine papa bia, the socket to bi nyuru dua wu bebia. Ana mantamu no so Bobbie ni bebia.
Light in the problem gumpa you cross one odu tembia boys in can prepare there e wo ha ama Bobbie odu akrono kra bibire there e wo cross one no say nya street lines ni Bobbie bibire na say nipa bi na say yehun so abokrono kra na onama e be there biti kra there na hu no
na jenejene ha no de oba fa light ho de ezo yan say yeko ofisi ye ho a ho na meti na am say na say o mbe cheche bulbs bu ha na camera say nka omudi bi beba ho because ofisi wona de san ho nyina yesu sa kosi onu su nyina ye wura a de san ya yeto no ye ho kire nti senka limoni mu ya no se ampi notice no betima aye ade possible best bia anko betim de light de bia ko ha nke de ye de.
The stakes are high in this year's elections. The Citi Member of Parliament, Kwaku Ejeni Mboaten, has been telling Citi News why he's seeking the mandate of the people to represent them in the next parliament.
We've done a lot for the community. When I say we, I'm talking about the collective administration. The current MPP government, as you can see what we are doing here. We are constructing a road from Jambridi Junction to Kuraso. There's so many projects that has taken place here. We've done so many things for the community, and renewal of mandate is about the contract you have with the people, the expectations they have, what you've been able to achieve, and you're going to be judged. It's about accountable leadership. It's about what you've done and what you can do for them. It's about the confidence they have in your leadership. And I'm very hopeful and confident that they're going to renew the mandate because we've done so much. You can look at it in various sectors. We can talk about education, you can talk about agriculture, you can talk about health, you can so many sectors that we can go into and talk about them. Of course, today you've met me on construction site. It's a road project that I'm inspecting, and I'm monitoring to make sure that it's done in record time, because it's been a very problematic road for us. Unfortunately, we got the assistance of government to get it constructed.
Lexin Chedria, who has been appointed by the NDC as one of the spokespersons on sports, discloses why the constituents should vote for him.
I think the people should give me opportunity to serve and continuing doing what I've been doing all my life. You know, I've spent most of my adult life doing a lot of advocacy, debating on issues, fighting for the underprivileged, fighting against injustices. And I don't think there is any bigger platform than the parliament to do that. And that's why I think I should be given opportunity to serve the people, fight for them to get opportunities they've been craving for, fight for their share of the national cake when it comes to developmental projects across the country. And I think I've done enough in the media fraternity. I've done enough in the public service. I've gathered a lot of working experiences that are needed to serve this constituency.
An independent candidate, Legend Derek Obin, is also contesting.
For the past 12 years, we voted for our incumbent MP. There isn't a single project that this MP has done for the people of Jambide, talking of the rest of the 19 communities around. So we are in, and we are in for change. We are in only to salvage the situation.
The two candidates outline their plans for the constituency when they get the nod.
The next phase will be to look at how we can engage the youth, especially in terms of employment. And in Brekum West, we have a major tomato factory that is going to be commissioned very soon by the president. I'm told he's going to be somewhere within he's coming for inspection within a month. And commissioning and commencement might start shortly afterwards. It's going to help us to tackle some of the youth employment challenges that we have. So we're doing, all fronts are being tackled, and I'm hopeful that things will get better.
If you look at area of sports, coincidentally, one area I have so much passion, and it is an area I've been working over the years to get many of the talents around opportunities to go a notch higher. You know, when you come to the area, nowhere in this region do we have more talent than Brekum area. However, lack of opportunities for them is what is actually hampering their progress, and it is for that reason that I've established a Division 2 club. And last year, 3 of my boys got opportunity to the regional and the 15 team. And when I become MP, I'm looking to go escalate it to a full-blown academy, so that after GHS football, those who have the talent could go to the academy, play football while they pursue their academic course at the same time.
From Jine, capital of the Brekum West district, I am Michael Saponifun for Citi News.
Still on election-related matters, the National Media Commission has indicated to the Public Accounts Committee that it is not ready to monitor the media landscape ahead of the 2020 elections. Now, according to the Executive Secretary of the Commission, George Sapong, the Commission does not have the required technological support at the moment to track in real time intemperate language on the airwaves. Here are excerpts of the hearings.
Are we prepared to monitor election 2020? That sadly is no. We do not have the resources and the capacity to be able to monitor election 2020. So we are working towards alternative approaches to regulatory systems that can still help us make some necessary interventions. Just this morning, I completed work. And I would love to show, certainly to Honorable Sam George, because of your interest in technology, but any member of the House who is also interested in this. What we are developing is a system that enables us to monitor media broadly and better than what we had previously done. So we are building an integrated system that enables crowdsourcing and also citizens to input into the process. So wherever you are, if you found something on radio, television that is of concern to you, you could send it to us. The material is time-stamped, it is location-stamped. So it helps us easily to tell where it is coming from. At the same time, beyond the media, the system enables us also to take incidents. So if something is happening in a constituency, at a polling station or anywhere, and somebody took that video and sent it, because of the time and the GPS stamping, we can tell whether it is authentic or not. So that can also help us to address questions of fake news and disinformation. We've seen materials run around, sometimes something that we claim to be happening in Ghana, it happened in Kenya 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Sometimes it happened here, but not in relation to this election. So as we go into election 2020, our view is that that kind of technology will enable us to do reverse analysis and to say quickly, this did not happen in Ghana, or this is not happening in Ghana, in order to address questions of disinformation and fake news.
You're watching the Citi Newsroom on the Citi TV. My name is Akanya, Ofori.
And I am Bobbie Osei.
Now, still ahead in the bulletin, High Court restrains customers of Men's Gold from holding a demonstration to mark 2 years of the company's collapse.
We'll share the details on the story and some others when we return. Do stay with us.
Close-up deep action with antibacterial mouthwash formula and deep cleaning gel. Close-up deep action. Enjoy long-lasting fresh breath.
Hello, my brother. It's been a long while. Your house debut. I use the finest materials for this building. I can see that. But my brother, you know, just last year you built this house. Oh yeah. When the walls started to peel off like banana due to rising down. My brother, that's been my issue. I've tried so many things, but nothing works. You know what? They even use that black rubber thing only before the concrete casting. You mean that bola rubber? Oh, my brother, you would have saved yourself the stress if only you used Visqueen DPM from Vertigio Limited. Really? That'd be what my puppy used for house. And over so many years, the house till they come out.
For purchases and enquiries, contact Ventigio Limited at Spinters Road, Accra, or in Kumasi at Oshumasi Kwadaso.
Visqueen DPM, no size.
The Coalition of Aggrieved Customers of Men's Gold has described an injunction on the intended 2 years commemoration of the collapse of the company as politically motivated. The group had planned on holding a commemoration at the Joel branch of Men's Gold in Accra, but the intended commemoration was suspended after an injunction was served to them by an Accra High Court. There is more in this report.
The Coalition of Aggrieved Men's Gold Customers had scheduled the 12th September to commemorate 2 years since the collapse of Men's Gold Company. The objective of the program was to remember the about 67 customers who died in the process of recovering their locked-up funds and those who are yet to be paid. The program was expected to bring together customers of Men's Gold across the country that are yet to receive their locked-up funds. However, with few hours to the day, the coalition was served with an injunction to suspend the intended commemoration. According to the chairman for the coalition, Isaac Nyako, the program was not meant to go against any legal order. He says the injunction looks politically motivated.
And who says demonstrations happens on Saturday? Who is going to have a demonstration? Even to check the letter. With the letter we served them says commemoration of 2 years collapse of Men's Gold. They went to court and wrote demonstration of commemoration. Who writes such an English? to serve to court, and then you go to court and you write demonstration of commemoration. Who is demonstrating? We are seriously surprised about the way they went about things. Government has seriously manipulated the police to have our rights taken away from us. We believe it's about time Ghanaians, we the citizens, have to wake up.
The coalition had planned to hold the commemoration adjacent the Jowolu branch of Men's Gold. According to them, the injunction gave no tangible reason for the suspension.
Fortunately, they did not state any categorical reason. They didn't give any tangible reason. All they said is the space is not enough, which shouldn't be. We are talking about a president who is a human rights activist. And so if we are under such a government, that a president that we all believe is a serious human rights activist, and we are under such a ruler, we don't expect such things to be done to us.
They are thus forced to inform all members who had planned to join them for the program to suspend plans until further notice. Isaac Nyako, chairman of the coalition, says they will resort to court to overturn the injunction to hold the program later.
We have informed them, but as to whether they would be there or not, I can't tell, because some called on phone, they are not on our platform. That is why we are using this medium to let them know that this is the situation we have. We intend to go to court coming next week so that we can sort for a proper date and then communicate the next available date that court will give us. Then we can let them know that the dates and the venue, the next appropriate date and venue that will have the event. But for now, we've been served with injunction, and I want them to know that this is the situation at hand.
Moving on, the Coalition of Survivors of Domestic Violence is calling on government to instruct the Attorney General's Office, Gender Ministry, Judicial Services, Ghana Medical Association and the Ghana Police to review the practice of taking medical fees directly from survivors of domestic violence. According to them, the 800 cedi medical fee has prohibited survivors of gender-based violence from pursuing justice. Here is a report found by Citi News' Na Adole Moffat.
When we think about how much domestic violence costs, we tend to think of the damage one faces for getting the medical care, the cost of services from the police, imprisonment, and legal services. In June 2014, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection reported that the government had established a domestic violence board and secretariat, and that a legislative instrument was being finalized for the Domestic Violence Act. The same source reported that a domestic violence fund had also been established to assist domestic violence victims with skills training and medical bills. However, in many hospitals, if victims of physical violence require emergency medical treatment, they are first required to make payments. The victims sometimes do not complete filing their formal complaints because they cannot afford to pay for the services of a doctor who will work on police medical forms. This hinders the pursuit for justice on the part of the victims. The Coalition for Survivors of Domestic Violence has stated that the practice of taking medical fees directly from survivors is illegal, unfair, and goes against the fundamental human right to be enjoyed to all citizens. The coalition is therefore calling on government to intervene in the abolishment of medical fees demanded from survivors of gender-based violence.
I must admit that there are numerous obstacles to justice. There are numerous obstacles to justice, but significant among them is this free medical care that our laws have already established, that we have laws that are already in favor of the free medical care, but the enforcement of the law is becoming a problem. So the statement that we issued, we have outlined the laws, we have a constitutional provision, we have statutory provisions, as well as some decided cases that are in support of the implementation of the free medical care. But it's not happening. So we are calling on the government to take immediate action to issue directives to the relevant institutions, especially the Ministry of Health, so that doctors will stop charging victims when they come to the hospitals for medical examination. This fees are hampering access to justice. Why? Because most of the victims or the survivors get discouraged. Some of them do not have the 200, the 300, the 500. So they go back home and the criminals walk the streets.
And that's our wrap up today's edition of the Citi Newsroom. Do remember that our website, citinewsroom.com, has more information on our top stories and more.
Subscribe to CitiTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Citi TV.
Download the Citi Newsroom app from the Google Play Store or the App Store and keep updated on the go.
You can also watch Citi TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182.